Nope, it says to rotate back. If we're sideways, we're sideways, because it says we're supposed to be this way.
Square, I guess. All right. Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. The mosquitoes are bad.
Hello. And even though you aren't, we're glad you're here.
There'll be somebody join us for the replay.
Yeah.
We've been a busy week. I walk every day after work with a friend of mine, and I meet on Thursdays with a group of ladies, and then we've been canning and cooking and watering the garden and watering flowers, and yeah.
And I've been working a lot.
Yep, you've been working a whole lot. So I don't know. I guess homesteading, because we've been producing food. But
We built the dog pen.
oh, you did build a dog pen.
Built the dog pen and a dog kennel just in time.
Just in time. Maddie had puppies.
I thought that dog's gonna have puppies. I need to get her
Yep.
her own separate pen and dog house. And
Hi, Rebecca. Are we sideways, Rebecca? Rebecca says hi, everyone.
where are you reading that?
Right down there.
I can never gonna be able to read that.
Yeah.
It's really small and it's.
Sideways. I have a feeling that
Hello, Rebecca. I can read it like that.
yeah, I have a feeling we're sideways because even though the camera, it looks like on our end, the chat's sideways.
Wackadoodle.
Yeah,
we are
okay.
sideways.
Okay, but you turned your phone. Okay.
Well,
hopefully that works, because if we turn our phone, then it tells us we're wrong. I don't know. I can't get it figured out. It's just being silly. Let's see if that helps anything, because it tells me I have to rotate my phone back. Orientation is locked. Rotate your device. So, unless I need to go this way with it. Maybe. Is that it? I don't know. But we're circling. Yeah, it was me. I was moving things around trying to get it to where it was, the camera was, but it's, I don't know. Me and technology. For some reason, my phone has stopped letting me, or maybe it's YouTube, have my phone long ways, horizontal. And if I don't have my phone horizontal and I have it vertical, then then my phone tells me that I need to rotate my device, that I'm set for horizontal mode. So I don't know.
Do you know how to reset that?
No, I have to go off the line. I don't know.
Oh well.
So we'll just deal with it, I guess.
Thanks for being in here, Rebecca.
Yes. So if we're upside down, I'm sorry. But anyway.
People thought I was pretty talented. They didn't know I could stand on my head.
Or sideways. It may just be sideways. Woo, hello. But, yeah. It's fun to be silly sometimes. But
we went to some Amish grocery stores.
oh, okay. It came back. Okay. Yes, we did. We went to some Amish grocery stores
yesterday, and then we went to Chick Days.
We did. Chick Days at
Chicken Festival.
Right.
What was it called?
It was
something
Chicken
at Cackle
Days.
Hatchery.
Yeah.
Chicken Days at Cackle Hatchery.
Yeah.
Lebanon, Missouri.
We had a good time. There were some vendors, and there was lots of chickens to look at, and chicks, and it keeps connecting, disconnecting. Hopefully our internet will stay with us today.
I don't know if you guys know this, but you can be in Mexico. You can go to Mexico, California, Lebanon, and where else, and never leave southeastern
Montreal.
Missouri. Oh, and Montreal, and never leave
Warsaw.
southwestern
You
Missouri.
can go to Warsaw too.
Yeah, Warsaw.
Versailles.
And Versailles, yep.
There's lots. You can go to lots of places.
And I don't know, you can go to Humansville too.
You can go to Humansville.
Never leave southwestern Missouri.
I don't know. Versailles may be central. It's practically
Yeah,
north
and
of
we're
us.
actually, if you look at a map, we're almost central, but
Yeah.
everybody talks about us being southwestern Missouri. I guess it's kind of the region. I don't know. People say weird things.
Yeah. I haven't figured out. I know we're still in the Ozarks.
Yeah, we are. Even this. There's several different maps of the Ozarks where some people have qualified them a little different, but we're still in
Yep.
every one of those. We're still in the Ozarks.
Yep.
Now we're not an hour from being out of the Ozarks.
Right.
We're Sales, I think. Isn't that north of Iberia? Yeah, that's kind of the end for a lot of maps. Kind of the edge of the Ozarks.
But we
So
enjoy it. We're liking Missouri.
we love the Ozarks. I do. We've always enjoyed visiting here, and now we're here a lot more than we used to be.
A whole lot more. Again today, it's sideways, so I don't know. It's a bit of a battle.
Whew.
Eventually, I plan with my next YouTube check because I'm getting one about every 10 or 11 months. I'm getting a YouTube check, a whopping $100. But anyway, I plan on getting an external camera for our computer so that we can go live from our computer and not have to worry about the phone being every which way but loose.
Every which way but loose.
Yeah. So I wonder if that was Chris Christopherson wrote a whole bunch of songs way back in the day. I wonder if that was one of his songs.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think people don't realize he's written a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And nobody knows.
I mean, everybody knows the songs. They just don't realize he wrote them.
Yeah, nobody knows he wrote them. He wrote some very popular songs.
He did.
I think that, there are very talented people that people don't know who they are. And as much as I am a Chris Christopherson fan, he wasn't the greatest singer in the world.
No.
There were some songs that fit his style that were more
of a ballad or
and almost reciting poetry with music in the background that he did pretty good with. And then there's one song that he sang well that was a very personal song to him that was probably the best job he ever did singing that.
I think it's one of his best songs too.
Yeah.
Why Me Lord?
Yeah, Why Me Lord? Yeah, I think it's his best song, and it's very personal to him. It was his song. It was about his life, and he probably did the best job singing he ever did on Why Me Lord. So, and it's a cool song. I like that song. Yep. Now, last week when we were on here, our chats kind of hung up, and people were chatting, and we had no idea. I don't know if we're getting chats today or not.
Well, yeah, I didn't have it where it would hang up the chats. I did have it where you have to be subscribed for 20 minutes before you can comment in the chat, and that will help get rid of the bots and keep them from.
So if you're in here and you're watching us and you just found us or whatever, and you're not able to comment, just go subscribe. Nope.
So he's got it. He's got it on his. Join it. Yeah, he just got his notification. So maybe people will be coming in. But yeah, it is sideways though. If you turn your phone sideways, is it still sideways?
Nope.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well.
My phone's showing it pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I guess it's going through okay.
But yeah, we're glad you guys are here, Heather and Rebecca and whoever else is here. We're tickled to see you, tickled to hear you, tickled to read you, however you word that.
But it doesn't tell us how many people are here. Does it tell you how many people are there?
I'm not seeing it.
Right there. Yeah.
Three.
Woohoo!
And one thumbs up.
And one thumbs up. Well,
thank you guys for being in here.
And
we, if you're checking us out and you're not subscribed, go subscribe so that you can come comment.
In 20 minutes.
We had some, in 20 minutes, we had some struggles that we haven't had a lot of trouble with before. And we started having trouble with, so we decided to do that a little differently.
Yep.
And we have no idea if that's the right way to do it or not. But
It sure helped with. It's helped last week with the trolls and the robots.
Yeah.
So.
We
Yeah.
don't know if we're doing it right. We're gonna whip it on both sides and just let her buck.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yesterday, but I'm sorry I interrupted and got us sidetracked. But yesterday we went to
Cackle Hatchery
Cackle Hatchery.
at Lebanon. They had a chicken festival.
And so that was our thumbnail for today was
I say, son, I say,
oh,
foghorn leghorn.
and I about cried yesterday when some young mother took a picture of her child. So now Foghorn Leghorn is an old school chicken.
Well, you know what? I think he is. I think he was old when we were kids and watching him.
But anyway, I thought that was hilarious because, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm old. It's an old school chicken. And if you can see, he's got his little nephew on his shoulder, too. I can't remember.
That's the chicken hawk.
Oh, well, that was the. Oh, you're
That's
right.
the
You're
little-
right.
the
That's
junior-
Junior, the chicken hawk. I got, yeah. His nephew was a little white. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. It's been a long time since I saw any of that. Yeah, Gary's got to ask Mr. Google Pants how old Foghorn Leghorn is.
I'm gonna say he's really old.
I would think so. Yeah, 77.
1946.
Woo! He's older
he
than
is
your
old
dad.
school. Yeah, he is old school.
Yeah.
And so he was old school when we were watching him as
Mhm.
kids. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
he was 30 years old when I was born.
Oh, me.
So I was watching him when he was almost 40. So yeah, old school.
Old school.
But we, she said, I'm guessing 1940. She
Yep.
was right.
Yep, you're right, Heather.
46.
46. My folks were 3 in 46. Wow. And they didn't have access to television till my mom may have had. Sorry, the mosquitoes are bad.
Okay. One thing I really have trouble with out here is woolly worms.
Yes.
The woolly worms, so they say they don't sting you. No, they don't. But if you brush them,
The white one.
across my neck, and it's really tough. And I had one get on my shirt, and I flicked him off. Well, I hit him hard enough that I scattered those quills all over my shirt last night, and it was pretty itchy.
Yeah.
But we built the dog kennel and dog pen this week.
He did, unless he had a mouse in his pocket.
Hannah helped me.
Oh, Hannah helped you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
She helped me a little bit one day. I think she had a little time. The other time when I was building it, she was up for her.
Yeah. And then the dog had puppies.
And the dog had puppies.
And we put up a short video of those puppies, and they're so cute. There's 6 of them. She had 7 that we know of, and one didn't make it. And
It was probably
stillborn.
stillborn.
By the looks of
yeah.
things, yep. So, yep. But it has been a beautiful fall day. So sorry. Been a beautiful
Yeah.
fall day.
She says they're made from fiberglass.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I always just knew they wouldn't sting you, but I'd never messed with them much. But here on this porch, they'll like crawl on you and stuff, and I've never had. I mean, there's a sky above them here, so
I think they come out of the trees. Honestly.
probably so. Probably so. We've got really neat bugs here.
Yeah. It's crazy that when you live somewhere with more moisture, the more bugs you have.
Yeah, and more moisture and lots of timber and all that. Yeah, and we have, I mean, there's all kinds of neat different bugs here in the Ozarks. The hickory horn something. We got a caterpillar a great big old green caterpillar that looks like a bald knobber. He's got these big funky horns that are like striped, like the bald knobber masks. If you
Oh
guys know
gosh.
anything about
Well,
bald knobbers in history,
maybe they patterned after him.
they might have
Maybe.
because they've been here. You know, they're a native here. You know, there are all kinds of neat species of animals in the Ozarks that are unique to the Ozarks. Plants and animals and insects and fish and birds and bats and even there's a salamander called a hellbender.
Yeah.
That's native here to the Ozarks. And there's a Ozark blind cave salamander that's unique here.
We're still getting a few tomatoes. Still getting peppers. Beans. We're still doing beans and cow peas. Or crowder peas, whatever you guys call them. We call them cow peas.
Hickory horned devil.
Hickory horned devil. Yep, there he is. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at him. He does look like a... I hope you guys can see him. He does look kind of weird. Kind of gives... There it goes. Gives the reflection of the trees behind it. In front of us. Yeah, he's a weird looking thing.
I remember finding them when I was a kid and thought, what in the world? I just knew they'd sting me.
They look like an alien.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they got chicken talons growing out their head. They make a great big moth. They're the regal moth.
It's orange and yellow and gray. Real pretty. Real pretty. But anyway. And we have a nice fall garden. Our lettuce is bitter because it's hot and dry.
Yeah, it was hot and dry when it was coming on, and it's bitter. It's just not worth eating.
But we got lots of dill. We still have lots of
beans and carrots are doing good.
Beans and carrots.
Tomatoes are they're slow right now, but they're still putting on.
Lots and lots of peppers.
Lots of peppers.
I'm starting to get more dill. We've got the dill just spread like crazy. We've got a lot of small dill. We've got a little bit of cilantro. We've got basil, both Thai basil and just regular sweet Italian basil, I think. And yeah,
we have a real nice patch of fall cowpeas we planted that are ripening. They've done great. And in the early batch we had out about the time we planted those, but they were kind of late too. I'd planted something and run out of seed, and we finally decided, well, I'll just plant cowpeas right there in that spot.
Yeah.
And they did really good. The
our okra was good. We need to cut it back because it's still blooming.
And we kind of let it get away from us. We didn't pick it for a week or so, and it got away from us.
But we've got lots of seed. If anybody wants seed, let us know. We'll mail you some seed.
I think that's something we're going to try to push a little, get some of that out.
Yep. And
Need to send Papa Pepper some.
Yeah, just but yeah, it grows amazing here, and we actually need to do 2 rows next year. So every year we grow something, at least one thing new, and then we grow things that we know we will eat, and then we have some just some standbys that we always grow, and then since we're such a small garden here, we're paring back down and okay, what produced well, what is a good use of our space since we're limited on space and our time. That's okay, Julia. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, one garden's like 25 by 35 or something like that, 25 by 30. The other one's probably 28 by 30 or 40, something like that. Yeah. So two small gardens. Then we got a little flower bed and a little like 7 by 7 or 6 by 6 raised bed.
That's true, Heather. It won't grow that far north for Heather. I don't know if we've shared with you or not. I think we have. That there is some dwarfed okras that you might be able to grow. Yeah,
so, a lot of times when you are that far north, you get good long days. And so a lot of things, if you get it where you can get varieties that will grow good because you've got good long sunshiny days. But like when we lived in Wyoming, we didn't have enough growing days to grow regular okra. So we found some short growing days, which usually ends up being a dwarfed okra because it
Yep.
matures quicker.
Yep.
Um, but
North South okra and jade were
Yeah.
the two dwarfed
Yeah.
okras that we grew in
north
Wyoming.
north south would be like
Yep.
6 inches tall and put on a 4 inch
Yeah,
okra.
it was crazy.
It was a low bush
yeah.
type okra, but we thought it was very good. It was
It's
good.
very
It was
tasty.
a Clemson spineless type
Yes.
fruit.
So it was a little less slimy, but also how you prepare it does the slimy. If you're gonna
all
boil,
okra's slimy.
yeah. And if you're gonna boil it, it's gonna be slimy. If you're gonna fry it, it's not gonna be slimy.
Some of the bigger, shorter, fatter pod, more old style okras, they seem to have more slime.
Yeah, that Texas Hill Country is really slimy.
Yeah.
And our kids did not. We liked it because it was beautiful, but it did not pickle well. It was too slimy to pickle.
And we decided to quit trying a different kind of okra here and there.
Yeah, 70 to 90 days. Yeah, and that's where, same with Wyoming. That's our Wyoming growing season was 70 to 90 days.
And so I think that north-south was like a 54 or 60 day okra. And that's what you need to find, which is a very short growing season for an okra. That's not, there's just a few that have been developed to take that.
And you can transplant okra. It doesn't do quite as well sometimes, but it can be done. I've seen it done. And so I know that it can be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you're probably like us, Heather. We got snow on our garden every month but July when we were in Wyoming. And so, but on the mountain, when Gary go to camp and be at camp almost all summer long, he'd be at camp 6 to 8 weeks in the summer, and about 6 weeks, not 8 weeks, sorry, 6 weeks in the summer, and it would snow in every month. But yeah, on your list, if you like okra, like if you like it, the other thing we do, Heather, that we love it for is soup thickener. And
soup thickener.
It is a good soup thickener.
It's great fried.
It is.
We love fried okra. It's great roasted and grilled.
Yes.
Okra, the flavor of okra with a little salt is an amazing flavor. A real green. I don't know. It's just a really.
And the dehydrated okra, you can season it however you want. It makes really good crouton replacement. If you're needing to be on a low glycemic diet, you just slice your okra and sprinkle the seasonings you want on it. Garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and it makes an amazing crouton replacement.
Yeah, and if you're really working on that eating your medicine, okra has a lot of health benefits. One of the health benefits of okra is it stabilizes your insulin.
Yes.
It stabilizes your blood sugar, basically.
Yeah.
And so okra is really good for that. And there's some other things okra does too, but it's a green. It's a green colored vegetable, so it's going to have some chlorophyll and some of those benefits that come from the chlorophyll. And it's good. We like it. It's neat history. It was sewn into jewelry and clothing,
braided into hair,
and the people that were being taken from Africa as the enslaved people, which was a horrible practice that the Bible condemns stealing people to sell them into slavery, very much so. But it was a horrible practice, but those people were bringing seeds with them in their jewelry, in their clothing, in their hair adornment, and one of those seeds that came to the States that way is okra.
And some of them were the peas.
Yeah.
Especially the cow peas.
Cow peas. Okra and cow peas, and even some kinds of rice.
Yep.
There was definitely in places of Africa, there was a rice culture, and actually that's where the rice culture in the southeast came from, was from the enslaved people. And everybody has great value, regardless of how people around them have treated them. everybody has great value, and the value that a lot of the enslaved people brought to our homesteading culture that many years ago was some of the vegetables they brought and some of the knowledge of farming that they brought, and that we can still use today.
And I feel like that in doing that we honor them, and
But
even though they were treated horribly at times, and it was a horrible practice, I feel that we can honor our ancestors and honor people that influenced our culture, and I consider them ancestors, even though maybe they're not blood related. They passed it down.
we are American, and they are in the American ancestry.
Yes, and so therefore,
Yeah, they are. They have shaped our culture
Yes.
and our people, because a lot of those things that came out of that then were integral parts of poor blue collar people surviving the Great Depression.
yes,
I mean, that's my grandpa. That's why he loved okra so much, because that was a survival food for them coming through the Great Depression, and so he loved okra, and that was one of his foods. You know, that's one of the things you just didn't go through a summer without having.
Oh, Heather can't have nightshades anymore.
Oh, so no
So
tomatoes,
no tomatoes, no peppers,
no eggplants.
no eggplants.
Wow.
They won't
So-
call them eggplants, though. They'll call them it starts with an A.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know zucchini is called like a courgette or something
Yeah.
like that. But
It's I forgot it, but yeah, eggplant it starts with an A, A B something. Yeah. Man, that's too bad. I don't know what I'd do if we couldn't have nightshades, because we eat so much tomato-based products.
Yeah.
That would be hard. That is a hard one, Heather. But yeah, that'd be a hard one. So your soups are going to have to be broth-based instead of tomato-based, which can be done.
and you can do like pumpkin-based soups. Too.
Yeah.
There are some
Oh,
pumpkin
yeah,
soups
there
that
are.
are really good.
Yeah.
And potato-based.
So, well, potato is in the nightshade.
Yeah, it is, but I think I read or heard somewhere that people that are allergic to the nightshades are allergic to the top part of the plant and not to the roots. And potatoes are the roots. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe Heather can say, "Hey, no, I can't eat a potato," and then I'm going to cry for you if you can't eat a potato. But
That's so sad.
yeah,
It is sad.
it is sad.
I'm about to cry for her because she can't have tomatoes and peppers. I don't know if I could live without tomatoes and peppers. That'd be rough. It'd be real rough.
No potatoes.
Oh,
Holy cow.
gosh. Wow.
Shoot me now. I'm sorry that you can't have potatoes, but there is a lot of food out there.
Yeah.
So, like, sweet potato is not a nightshade.
Right.
It's
actually kind of in the almost in the hibiscus.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
Yams and sweet potatoes. Yep.
Yep. And then
So and there's some winter squashes that
Yes.
make a pretty good potato substitute in certain cases that we've used a lot, and those aren't nightshades. Different kinds of pumpkins and winter squashes and stuff that would be really good.
and okra is a hibiscus as well.
Yeah, and then then there's some other root vegetables. I'm sure you can probably eat, like carrots and turnips and radishes and rutabagas and parsnips might be popular where you're at.
Thanks for crying for me too. Oh gosh. That is just sad. Oh gosh.
That's kind of rough.
That is rough. And we had a young kid that was allergic to the capsaicin for peppers, so he couldn't have peppers. But yeah, that was hard. That was hard to cook when we knew he was coming over, because I don't know how to cook without some kind of pepper flavor. A pepper flavoring. I use a lot of, but especially then I would powder a lot of my bell peppers and make my own seasonings and use them in the place of paprika. And so yeah, that would be rough.
It would
Be really rough. So, but yeah, went to the Amish store yesterday, or stores, two of them yesterday. So much fun. My pantry is full of bad food. Yes, you have to find somebody to share with. Maybe you guys can trade. Maybe they canned a lot of beans or a lot of green beans or something, and you can share with them or trade with them. Yeah. Oh, goodness, I hate that for you. We know when we did a little bit of an elimination diet, that was rough for a while. Cheese, yes, that covers a lot.
Yeah.
Cheese,
You know,
man.
if you can eat meat and eggs and dairy, you can really get all your nutrition through meat and eggs and dairy. I know there's a lot of people that say there's no way, but it's been proven. There's nutritionists out now that are saying that's preferred, and you know what's being said by professionals changes every week, but
It does.
but I think that that's right. I mean, there's people proving it, and I think it does a lot for you.
I can tell a difference in my especially in my gut health, since we have not been having since our chickens have molted and we've not been getting eggs, and so I've been eating the eggs every day. I was eating 2 eggs and some bacon every day, and that has really changed, like changed some stuff for me.
One of those great big red-headed woodpeckers just landed in that thing.
Oh, guys, I got to shoot a video of the trees. The leaves are starting to change. They're really, really pretty. You can have as many eggs as you want. Awesome.
Yeah, those are very good for you.
Yep.
You know, they're
complete
lots
food. Yep.
and lots and lots of people throughout history that have survived on a garden and a chicken house. Garden and eggs and an occasional old hen.
Yeah.
And you know that's a homesteading staple. I kind of went down a rabbit hole a few years ago on displaced people and how they survived, you know, as far as food. And so in doing that, 2 of the people groups that I really started kind of diving into was enslaved people when they were emancipated. And that was kind of displaced people. Because as horrible as slavery was, emancipation was a change. It was a change. It was a change for the better, of course, but it was a change.
And it was difficult at the time for them to adjust.
Yeah, they had to learn to do it, but they did.
And they did it, and they survived, and they
created a vibrant culture
they did.
in it
Yeah.
that I think a lot of people have missed.
Yes.
But the enslaved people when they were emancipated, and also the 5 civilized when they were moved to Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. Those were 2 of the groups I really got into, and so studying about, and man, key to their survival, even for Native people when they came to the Ozarks first and then to Oklahoma, key to them was a garden and a chicken house, and or I'd say chicken house, poultry.
Yeah, poultry.
Sometimes it was domestic turkey, sometimes it was domestic ducks. It was often chickens. But that garden was key, of course, and then hunting was a big part of both those groups, too. And maybe not hunting like we think of it.
Right.
But fishing and frog gigging and trapping crawdads and hunting rabbits and squirrels and possums and coons and turtles. And those were, you know, big parts of their food systems.
And I wish that I had talked to my grandma, my granny, more about the Depression and how she fed her family. I mean, she was having children during the Depression. She got married and having children during the Depression. So I would like to know, you know, and in Oklahoma, and they stayed in Oklahoma, and I would just really be interested. I know when growing up, when I was a kid, until just the last year of her, so she had a major stroke in like May or June of '87, but we had chickens at her house up until then. She would follow her clothesline out, even though she went blind when I was like in kindergarten or 1st grade.
Thanks.
Small game, yep. Yeah, thank you, Julie. But yeah, so I think maybe first grade that she went blind, I think. anyway, even after that, she would still feed cattle. We had cattle in the pasture, and she would know how many steps to go to her smokehouse, and then from her smokehouse to her clothesline, and then follow her clothesline, how many steps from her clothesline to the fence. And she'd feed a bucket of cubes, 5-gallon bucket of cubes to them cows every day, and touch their heads, and she'd pet them. And she was an amazing woman. She just never quit. She did quit canning at that point, but and some of her cooking, she did some stuff, but we assisted quite a bit.
And you carried on a couple, 2 or 3 of her recipes.
I have. Yeah.
One of them would be the chicken and noodles, was kind of something of hers, wasn't it? Yeah. And
the noodles, making noodles. I make noodles. How she taught me to make noodles.
Yeah, and they're not the thin Italian noodles. They are the big, heavy, almost a dumpling-like noodle, and very home-style cooking.
Yeah.
And
now when her chicken and noodles was just basically chicken broth and the noodles and some seasoning, but we dress it up.
Oh yeah.
We throw in celery and onions and carrots, and we really dress, and potatoes if we have them, and we really dress it up. It just was a way to stretch that chicken, because we growing up we had plenty of chicken to eat, and may or may not have the vegetables at the time of the year that we were eating chicken and noodles. But when we were raising children, we were needing to stretch that, and we had access to the vegetables. So and it was a way to try to keep nutrition in our kids, especially when we were in Wyoming, because there wasn't a lot of fresh vegetables.
With all the eggs, unless they cracked, yeah.
Yep.
The crazy thing was a lot of, in the Depression, a lot of people suffered from malnutrition because such a heavy grain diets.
Yeah.
What food they got a lot of times was flour and oatmeal, and just like you said there, and so it was a lot of times there was some malnutrition because of that.
Yeah.
But if they were living on eggs and gardens, they weren't suffering the same malnutrition. 30% of the young men that signed up for World War II suffered from malnutrition. Were turned away because of the effects of malnutrition.
Yes, we love homemade noodles too, and.
And I love how that was portrayed in the Captain America movie.
Yeah. Oh, the weight, the malnourishment.
Yeah,
yes.
how the young men being turned away because of the malnourishment during World War II. It was at the end of the Depression, but yeah. And that small game is a great food too. Another thing that got raised quite a bit during the Great Depression and during the war, during the rationing of the war, and even up into my childhood, that was used as a heavy protein source. More so in Europe than here, but definitely here too, was rabbits.
Yes.
Backyard rabbits is a way to produce, you can produce a lot of meat. So I was told, and I think this is accurate, I was told that 3 dozen a buck will produce, in a year, will produce the same amount of meat as a beef calf, as a steer.
Huh. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many litters you can.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of variables in that.
Well, you can easily.
If 7-8 litters a year.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're butchering them at 3 pounds or so. I mean, you're producing a lot of meat.
Julie Cook's dad was World War II. Mom said when they picked him up from Cedar Valley to Denver, he was yellow. Oh, no. Yeah. Jaundice. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Probably. Skin and bones, sunken eyes, cheeks. It was bad. Yes. Yeah. Oh, oh.
There's a lot of that generation. My grandparents were kids during the Depression. My grandparents were actually kind of too young for World War II. My grandfather did serve in World War II, one of my grandfathers, because he lied about his age. Just fairly rough home life and wanted to serve his country, so he went and told them he was 18 when he was 15 and joined the Navy.
And had a stepbrother alive.
Yeah. Had had a 12-year-old stepbrother. I don't think they were real concerned about getting accurate readings on ages when they let a 12-year-old kid say, "Oh yeah, he's 18."
And your granddad was big.
He was big and very mature looking, and I mean,
Cedar Vale. Oh, Cedar Valley, Cedar Vale instead of Valley. Yeah, it auto-corrected you, didn't it? Yeah. Goodness. Oh, good question, Julia. That was one I wanted to ask. Was that before he served or after he served in World War II? I'm gonna guess it was after. And he faced a lot of challenges.
yeah. My grandpa wrote one of those letters. I remember Grandma telling us about it. Maybe even reading part of it.
Yeah.
But you've heard that there was kind of a joke about the World War II guys saying, "Tell my brothers to hurry up and sign up before they quit giving us this good deal." But he wrote a letter when he first joined the Navy about how, they'd let him sleep till like 5 o'clock in the morning. And he got to eat 3 meals a day and eat all he wanted, and and they took care of his clothing. And he had a warm place to sleep every night.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, and he only had to work till dark, and what a great deal it was to be
Yeah, he
there
just
and
had
get
to work
paid.
his shift.
Yeah, he just had to work his shift, and he'd grown up Depression era dairy farming and then cowboying for everybody else, and so he was used to working long days and then coming home and taking care of his own stuff. And
he would served in the South Pacific 42 to 45.
Yeah.
And he died not eating another grain of rice. I think my daddy'd be in there with him. My daddy hates rice because of his time in the Pacific. Or in Asia, I'd say. But yeah. But my dad was born in 43 while your dad was serving. But my dad served in Vietnam, so he was in 20 years after your dad was.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I would say it was probably malaria and malnutrition. Poor fellow. Oh, I hate that for him. Is that that's damaging. The consequences and the damage that the malnutrition and or malaria, if it was malaria, I hate to say that it was because I don't know, but if it was, the damage that can do to your body.
Shows he was a survivor.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how people can adapt and survive, and how we are capable of doing that.
And heal to a point.
Yeah,
Even that he was able to heal. And Julie, Julie's here, born in 1918.
Wow.
Tough folk. Yeah, tough folk. Yeah.
Yeah, both of my grandpas, the Depression-era grandpas, they were just tougher than
boot leather.
Yes. So my grandpa Adkins, the one that served in the Navy, learned to weld in the Navy, and he made a career as a welder. And he taught me to weld wearing flip-flops and cutoffs and no shirt. An old cracker box welder with that red brick 6011 rod, and it just pop and spark and throw big dillberries everywhere. You could just smell, and he was a really hairy man. You could just smell the hair burning. Even
hairier than Gary.
Yeah,
he was hairy.
And so he would just sit there, without his shirt on, and you could just smell the hair burning. But he taught me to weld. Now he made sure I had on leathers and gloves and everything, But he taught me to weld like that, and I remember him just welding like that. I do remember sometimes he would put on a heavy shirt to weld if he was going to be underneath it or something. He was somewhat careful, and I remember him working on his boat dock and it being like really cold weather, and that there wasn't ice on the water, but it was cold water, and him just jumping off into the water and working on his boat dock and it not bothering him at all.
That was 20 years before she was born, so she has to go by what her mama said.
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about it. I understand. My dad's has just in the last few years really started to talk about his service.
My grandpa talked about his service. Started talking to me one time. Him and I watched a movie with Ricky Schroeder called Too Young to Be a Hero.
Too Young to be a Hero, yeah.
And Ricky Schroeder was a Depression era kid that lied about his age
Served
and
on
served in the Navy. He
Mhm.
was on a gunboat, not on a sweeper, but
Mhm.
he was he would and then
And
he
it was
was
based on a true story,
yeah,
too.
based on a true story. He had been given he'd done some things in a battle, and they were making him a hero, and then found out he was younger than he lied about his age,
Yep.
and then they court-martialed him, and he went through all kinds of torture, and it was. And I remember Grandpa talking then about his time in the Navy and how that went for him, and and I didn't really catch then that he had lied about his age till later. Um,
Till his stepbrother wrote the book, Red
yeah,
and Me.
yeah,
And, yeah.
just a book of short stories
Mhm.
about his amazing older stepbrother that he
Mhm.
met, But yeah, called a book called Red and Me.
Mhm.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think Reminisce magazine published some of those short stories.
They did. Mhm. Yeah. Um,
Stories like somebody not paying him for working cattle, so he roped their outhouse while they were in it and drug it off.
Ornery stuff. Stuff he'd
and
go to jail for now.
and riding to a swimming hole that the gate was always open and on, and somebody had shut the barbed wire gate and blew through the barbed wire gate, him and the horse both. All kinds of crazy stuff. One of the crazy stories about my grandpa, and this show you how tough they were, that they were going to the Tulsa State Fair. They were what I know, 40 miles from Tulsa.
I don't know. Back then, it would have been over an hour drive.
Yeah, an hour drive. They were driving to the Tulsa State Fair from Inola. They were going to go to the fair, and they had their dates with him. And he, like, something happened, and he rolled the car. I don't know if he dodged somebody or something, and he rolled the car. Hello, Tinker's wife.
Hello, Miss Patty.
And he got out. They got out, and everybody was okay. So he flipped it back on its wheels, and it wouldn't start. So they just walked and hitchhiked and got a ride to the fair. And then they got a ride back after they were done at the fair. And he tinkered with it for a little bit and got it to fire up and drove it home.
Yep.
So yeah, they still went to the fair and everything.
Yep. and Gary's grandpa came. I don't know how fair this is. I don't think it was fair, but he served a little over a year on a minesweeper. 2 years on a minesweeper, and then came home and finished high school and played football.
Yeah.
How fair is that? I don't think that's fair.
TU offered him a scholarship, and he decided to go to work and start a family instead of going to college. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was a soft-hearted man. He fished and hunted birds, nothing with fur. Oh, yeah, my dad doesn't hunt anything. Yeah. Yeah, my dad doesn't hunt anything after his service. My dad, we're bragging on our dads. My dad still works every day. About 8 to 10 hours a day. My dad's working. Yeah, and I think he will until he can't anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's what he's doing what he loves. Let him do it. And so he's got his oil wells, his cattle, and my nephew's drilling rig, and he'll just do that till he can't do it no more. So he is starting to take a little more time off. My sister and brother-in-law are able to get him to start traveling a little bit, and not long ways. They go to Branson I don't know. They went 2 or 3 times this summer, and we were able to go down there and meet with them one day and spend a good part of a day with them in early August. And yeah, it's good to see him to take it easy a little bit and enjoy things. But he enjoys that. He enjoys what he does. He loves his cattle. He loves tinkering with those old pump jacks and drilling on that old drilling rig. I mean, and fixing water wells. That's what he loves to do. He loves to run his pulling unit and boss my nephews around. Local man that worked until he was almost 104 at Walmart. Yep. Oh, we were at Walmart, and there's a guy at Walmart that's 100 years old in Lebanon, Missouri. What'd she say? He was 100? Or he's almost 100. At 98. He was 98. He's 98. He's the oldest Walmart employee at Lebanon, at least, that we know of. Yeah. So, yeah, at 98, still working at Walmart. Bless his heart. But yeah, and that's what kept them going. They're hardworking people. Hardworking people. And that's what kept them going. And Grandpa Adkins, that kept, when he found out he had emphysema in 1979, he threw his cigarettes away, and your Grandpa Atkins, and he just kept going. Yep. And he did the things that he could do to keep himself healthy as long as he could. And what was it, 96 or 97 when we lost him? 98?
07.
07. Or 2007, sorry.
Yeah.
2007. Yeah, I agree. Julia. I agree. Yep, to keep doing what you love. He loved to garden with us when we were young. I can remember him running the tiller in the evenings sometimes when he'd get off work. If he got off early. I don't remember him much really messing with the soil or the plants, but I remember him running the tiller. But yeah, my mom is a small gal. She's shorter than I. She's about 5 foot tall, so wasn't a very big thing. She's chubby, but so that big old heavy tiller, it was self-propelling, self-driving, but it was a wrestling match for sure. And we had a huge garden for several years after she went to work, and then finally it was just too much for her. She was working and going to school, and then us girls. So yeah, Daddy did most of the raising with us girls. I say that, not really. It just depended on the time period. And Mama worked evenings, so it looked like he did most of the raising because he was there in the evenings with us. But, yeah. Love gardening, fishing the pond, and watching baseball. That sounds, yeah.
Yeah, both my grandpas were gardeners.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandpa Atkins was big into fishing.
Your great-grandpa Clemens, he was a fisherman.
Yep, and a gardener.
Yep.
Gardener and a fisherman. My grandpa Atkins liked to fish, and he had small game hunted some. He was wasn't doing that as much when I remember. He would go with us a little bit, but my dad pretty hardcore hunted, so you really had to go to keep up with that.
Yeah.
And so he didn't go with us as much, but he did some. Remember him squirrel hunting with me a little bit and rabbit hunting with me. He rabbit hunted with his brother-in-law a lot. His brother-in-law ran beagles for a while, and he told me stories about hunting with him.
Guys, we've about talked our time up. Does anybody have any prayer requests while we're finishing up? Of course, we need to keep the flood victims in our prayers, and the folks that are working to help them. We need to keep the folks that are in the path of the next hurricanes in our prayers as they prepare. And we just need to be praying for all of those folks, and praying for it's just heartbreaking. It's just so heartbreaking. The devastation I can't imagine. I mean, we see video clips and stuff, but it's overwhelming. We need to be praying for all of those folks. Dale will be going live in about 5 minutes, or 4 minutes, about 4 minutes. So, we have any prayer requests? Miss Patty, how's your moving going, hon? Looks like you're getting settled, and I hope everything's going well. Well, let's go ahead and pray. Father God, I just want to lift up everyone that's been impacted by this hurricane, Lord. Lord, I just ask that you be with them and that you would encourage them and you provide for them. And Lord, I ask that you be with the people that are um, working so hard to help them in whatever capacity, Lord. There's so many capacities that I'm not going to list them. Lord, I just ask that you be with them. You be with those that are grieving loved ones. Lord, I ask that you would just comfort them. You'd wrap your arms around them. Lord, I ask that you be with those that are in the path of the next storms coming through, Lord, that you would watch over them and that you would help them to be prudent if they need to leave. Let them know, give them plenty of warning to leave if they need to leave, evacuate, Lord. I just ask that you be with them and that you would just provide, Lord.
Father, we're thankful for who you are, and we're thankful for this community we've gotten to be a part of. And Lord, we do ask that you be with all the needs, those represented here tonight, and that you be with those that are struggling because of the weather and catastrophic events. Lord, we love and we praise you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off so that you have time to go over to 9 Acre Family Farms for Dale's. I want to thank you for sharing your love for all of God's people. I'm getting warned by all the vitriol from so many supposed Christians. You all are a reassurance. Well, thank you, Julia. I mean,
we get warned by some of that too.
We do, and it's awful. I'm sorry, but it is. It is.
I don't care who you vote for, and I don't care what country you were born in, and I don't care what color your skin is. You're still created in the image of the God that loves me and loves you and cares about us and created this world. We could get really political about some things that I think ought to happen with some things, but that's not the point.
Right.
It's not the point. And you know, I just, man, we ought to celebrate the variety instead of fussing with each other about it all the time. So
if we can enjoy the beauty of flowers, I don't know why, I guess because that's the kind of person I am, but if we can enjoy the beauty in flowers, we need to enjoy the beauty in each other.
Yep, absolutely.
And the variety.
We are the pinnacle of creation, and we need to recognize that as humans, we are the pinnacle of creation. It says God created man. He's talking about it's mankind, it's human beings.
Human beings.
Of all colors and shades and languages and all that. So.
Male and female. He created them.
Yep.
And so, you guys, it's something that's dear to us. And because, God has made us all in His image. And so, how dare we?
Yeah, and if you think you got to be hateful to somebody because they disagree with you, that just shows who you are. There's definitely people I disagree with, no doubt about it, that I wholeheartedly disagree with. But they're still human beings, and I still want to treat them decent because that's what I want to be known for. Not that I'm perfect at it. Sometimes I make mistakes. I appreciate you guys recognizing that and appreciating it. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, because in a world that's trying to spread hate, y'all, we need to be spreading love.
Yeah, and Martin Luther King said, "You don't defeat hate with hate; you defeat hate with love."
Yeah, King Jr. or
Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to be loving each other. I mean, that's. Jesus said if we could keep 2 commandments, we could keep them all. And but I believe we are humans and we're going to fail. Yeah. But He said if you love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and strength, mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Those are the greatest two.
Those are the greatest two
and
commandments.
all the rest of them rest on those.
Yep. Those should be the pillars as Christians. Those should be the pillars. We should be known by our love, not by our hate, not by who we're against. Sorry, it's something that's really, really wears on me. Just all the division that's being sown.
That's part of the reason we changed the way we're doing our chats, because there was people coming in here making racial slur, derogatory stuff that we just don't want to deal with.
No.
And so we try to set that up to where they come in here. They can't come in here and comment as much. So,
Yeah. And I think that has restricted how our stuff is being shared. I think since we did that, like you're not getting notified that we're live or going live.
Okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, well, thank you, Julia. Thank you. And I know that most of the folks that are on our that follow us, that are our friends, we know they feel the same way, that they're sick of the division and the hate, and that yeah. I need to get going. We're on a soapbox.
We could start talking about all the fear mongering that's done
Yes.
through the homesteading community, and we don't
Yes.
appreciate that.
No.
And we love it. We have some friends that we have felt like have kind of drifted that way sometimes, and we've seen some of them turn away from that and said, "Hey, that's not good."
Right.
There definitely are some voices in the homesteading world that are
in the world period,
Yeah.
not just the homesteading world.
there are some in the homesteading world
I
that
know.
it is about fear, and we're not homesteading out of fear. We're homesteading because we love it. And
It's our way of life. Yeah.
It's our way of life, and so we definitely want to steer away from hate and fear, because
Yeah.
I think those are pretty connected. Pretty connected.
Oh, we're glad you found us too, Julia. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Go over and join Dale's live if you can, at 9 Acre Family Farms. And remember, God made you special.
And he loves you very much.
Y'all have a blessed week, and thank you for blessing us. See you later.
Bye.